me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god. Let's go. I'm about to go.
Hello, folks. Richard Moore, USAGSA. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about corrupt law enforcement and their corrupt programs. Imagine that. So before I jump into it, and this is a good one. I believe all of them are good ones, but for sure this is a good one. I want to remind you that it's important, if you're not subscribed, to please subscribe and hit the like button and share relentlessly. Due to the fact that we are constantly having to deal with issues of being shadow banned, etc. So it's important, you as the viewers, followers, and listeners, to share our content. But in the description of the video, be our link tree, and in that link tree, be some of the various platforms that we're on, including my blog on Substack, where I've written extensively about these programs and their tactics, who's behind it. And also, I've covered victims' stories. So you go over there to Substack and subscribe to that and get in on the know. There are several ways you can support USAGSA. We're 100% supported by our listeners, viewers, and followers. Without you, we can't do what we're doing here. I can't keep the ship afloat without your support. So if you're gaining anything from our work, I encourage you to do something. And it's always a need that is urgent. And keep in mind, the people and programs that I'm exposing are funded by your tax dollars, my tax dollars. And it has been an unlimited flow of hundreds of millions of dollars into these programs, right into the communities, to violate the constitutional rights of American citizens. And that is in excess of 1 million people that are targeted by these programs that we're talking about. And a lot of people are not fully aware of where that or what that is. My job to make you aware of it. And we do it relentlessly. But within the link tree, you'll see Chime, Cash App, Donor Box, GoFundMe. That's a quick way. Or Super Thanks right now, the bottom of your screen down there. There's a lot of ways you can do it. But either way you do it, I encourage you to do it now. And for those that have been loyal for the last 4 years, you've stood by me at this association and what we're doing, and you know who you are. And without your support and you being loyal to this cause, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing. Now, mind you, in that last 4 years, a year and a half of that, yours truly was unlawfully incarcerated without a bond for shaking the apple tree too hard, obviously. That was a year and a half that the enemy gained and feels like that they got to win. Everything I own, literally everything I own, including my automobile, stolen. My pets were killed. You name it. That's right. And all this thanks to criminals with badges. But as you can see, I'm back. I'm back with a vengeance. You can believe that. If you think that the first 2 years I went hard, you ain't seen nothing yet. We ain't even got the lights turned on good. You can believe that. And we're not taking any hostages. To support and stand with USAGSA, I encourage you to become a patron at Patreon. That link's in there. You get everything first. Also, you get exclusive content. You can take a stand and you become a paid member. You can be a free member. But eventually, somewhere down the line, folks, the bills have to get paid. All right. And I know a lot of people. I've talked to countless people that have told me personally, thanks to you, this changed, that helped, this, etc., etc. I'm not doing this for the money. You can believe that. I'm doing this because this is my call. My calling is to expose this corruption and to advocate for the victims of the injustices that we're talking about and will continue to talk about. So I encourage you to go to Patreon, become a patron, or to use that super thanks. But before I get started, I want to clear some things up for some of you people that are new, whatever, and give you my personal opinion. So personally, I don't find swearing or cussing offensive. I do find backstabbing, lying, cheating, and fucking people over offensive, but not swearing. Okay? So now that we got that out of the way, I will talk about this dynamic of the COPS program, community oriented policing, or as I affectionately refer to as community orgasmic policing. And that's ran by law enforcement in every single community in America. And it's where they enlist private citizens, mobs of morons, and gaggles of them stalking, creeping, harassing, and torturing American citizens, violating their constitutional rights. Now, the cops, the police, they believe that there's some type of gray area they're operating in. You see, most of them took an oath to defend and protect against enemies, foreign or domestic. We can all agree to that. Well, I'll tell you, I didn't take an oath at the Constitution. Okay. What is an enemy, foreign or domestic? That's someone that violates America or an American citizen's constitutional and protected rights. Okay. That you did take that oath. Don't try to split hairs and miss the words on what you took oath to do. And those that break those oaths are liars. And I find that offensive. And everything else that I just mentioned. And you should too. As a red-blooded American with a backbone, I'll take a stand. I'm not going to back up. I'm not going to slow down. I'm not going to filter what's really going on, because let me tell you, folks, it ain't pretty. It ain't pretty. So we back in I want you to hang with me here. I'm going to give you an example. In 2018, in Union County, Mississippi, in the city of New Albany, a man was arrested. I believe it's his last name is Curbo. His name is Gary Curbo, and 60-year-old man. And he was arrested. Now, this is what the short article had to say. I've covered this before. I've written about it, but I want to bring everybody up to snuff on. Well, a federal complaint was filed against him in March 2000. I believe it was March 2018. Anyway, and his federal prosecutors asked for a mental evaluation of this man, who claimed, this is, I'm gonna translate all this for you in just a second. Who claimed that military helicopters were using lasers to shoot and kill his cattle, and the helicopters been dropping methamphetamine on his property, and the military had used satellite hookup to send signals to choke him while he was eating. Now, reading that, anybody that read that said, well, that man, obviously, they dropped too much methamphetamine on him. He's crazy. He's a nut job. But someone that has a lot of knowledge of this COPS program and this community orgasmic policing. Oh, I read between the lines on that. Now, is it out of the scope of the COPS program making illegal drugs relatively available to anybody that wants it, including hand delivering it for free? Just ask Mitch Neighbors. But we'll do that one for another day, Mitch. You absolutely correct. Now, is it just plausible? That's the deal. That's why we've got a drug problem. We'll always have a drug problem. They blame the cartels and build a wall 1,000 miles high. Still going to have a drug problem. Because without the drug problem, can't have the cops orgasmic policing problem and all these programs, all these hundreds of millions of dollars to build these penitentiaries and jails and courthouses and prosecutors and judges and lawyers. That's a big wheel, honey, that's got to be greased. So the drum beats on for illegal drugs. So we take that off the desk, off the table, that he imagines stuff about somebody dropping dope. And chances are somebody did it with a drone. But as they target an individual with this program, and I know on a first-hand basis what I'm talking about, they're constantly harassing and doing everything, killing their animals. It's killing his cows. I've talked to thousands of people. Have this drug deal that I've just mentioned. Set that aside. Their animals being killed. Just look at some of the stories that I've covered, especially in Jackson County, inbred Kentucky. Well, that inbred sheriff and his gaggle of inbreeds out there targeting a senior citizen and killing her animals. And she has an animal rescue and takes care of animals, and they had no problems. I think she said one of her cats had come up missing or something, and they delivered it back to her dead with its eyeballs gouged out. That's a real winner for you there, boys. That's inbred Jackson, Kentucky. And so he's shooting at these. Now, if these things really happened, which I believe they did, I bet the ranch on it, they did happen. So let's say for those, the naysayers, well, but let's just say for the sake of it, if that really happened, what would you do? Why call the police? Well, what if the police, let's just say, what if the police was the ones involved in doing it and the victim knew that? Who would you call? What would you do? Okay, you see where I'm going with this? And that's where Mr. Curbo went with it. They said he shot at helicopters on 5 different occasions. Now, all of a sudden, I'm quite sure that on his property, with his cattle and on his farm, that all of a sudden he didn't get some strange helicopter flight path where they're blowing by him all the time. Now, if they shot at him 5 times, that means the first time. Why did the chief of police of New Albany waddle his ass out there and say, hey, can't do that? They didn't do it. They kept blowing his property. What were they doing? Honey, that's called case building. They when they target an individual and they can't get them to get out there and do something, have them looking crazy and trap them where they can lock them up, like so many people have, including me. They are very creative, ladies and gentlemen. They will torture and taunt them people with drones and do all kinds of shit. And then all they need is one person. And I'll guarantee you, at the federal court, they didn't produce any log books or anything like that. Probably didn't produce a pilot, but let's say they did. So they get a pilot, come in there, and lie, say he shot at it 5 different times on such and such and blah, 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 blah. And the jury's listening to this. Well, we think the man that says they're shooting lasers and doing this and that is crazy. We believe the pilot, and that's the federal government put the pilot on here, and he's a military man. By God, we believe him. And folks, the federal judicial system has a 98% conviction rate. They buy that bullshit and convict them. I know firsthand. I'm a victim of it. So what do? They convict him. You see, they didn't get him, but you couldn't get him on a state charge. That's just a lot of, we're going to get this old man. We're going to get him out of the way. What we do, who knows who got his property and his assets and all that, or who's getting it, who's grabbing it. It's probably somebody, one of these ass towns locally, wants his property, and they're involved in community orgasmic policing. So, look no further than Oklahoma, Mississippi. Childa Stevens was murdered, supposedly, by Fred Stevens, her husband, who later died about 3 months later from self-inflicted knife wounds to the stomach in Chickasaw County Jail. That was over a land grab. His neighbors, I've covered that. The Stevens murders. Go back and look at that, and you can find all you need to know about a corrupt sheriff, Jim Myers, in Chickasaw County, Mississippi. And these are the things they want to suppress, folks. These are the things they want you to look over. So what did he do with Curbo? The federal prosecutor didn't ask for prison time. He asked for something that very few people are familiar with. They asked for a civil commitment, saying that he's a danger to not so much himself, but to his community and society. And we want him civilly committed and evaluated by professionals, and whatever done to him, if he can be rehabilitated or whatever. And then when that's completed, we'll release him. And they civilly commit him. Now, what do you do with that? But this is not a criminal trial, ladies and gentlemen. It's not something a criminal lawyer or civil lawyer practices, because they're not asking for a fine. They're not asking for a prison time. They're not asking for the death penalty. They're having a proceeding for a civil commitment, which is different from a criminal or civil trial. You follow me? There's no appeal process. There ain't no process. So the federal judge that they're appointed for life grants it, and you can appeal it, but you're not going to get off. They appealed Curbo, said he was wrongfully committed to this deal. Now, how long does Curbo have to stay in prison? Here it is, folks. Welcome to the New World Order. Indefinitely. As long as that government paid clown and clowns in this federal penitentiary, it's not a hospital environment. He's in a federal penitentiary. But he didn't get there, and he doesn't have a felony charge. He can still vote and carry a gun, but he is not free, because they are on the program, boys and girls, and they are simply saying he is a danger to society. Why? I'm just kind of guessing here, because he still believes that they were flying helicopters and doing this and doing that. All right. Now, folks, what if they was really doing it? What's he supposed to do? Say, I no longer believe that. I'm a nut as a goddamn fruitcake. And so, let me go. Even with that, they're going to say, well, we got a bigger problem. Not only is he crazy, he's lying to us now. There's no win. He's hit. He will die in a penitentiary, boys and girls, thanks to community orgasmic policing. And that, my friend, is how they get rid of people. That's how they got rid of the Stevens family. And I can sit here and name you people in circumstances and cases till their cows come home. What about 19-year-old Austin Hines? Didn't weigh 100 pounds soaking wet. Didn't have a gun or anything. Broad daylight. 100 cops in Lowndes County, Mississippi, the police and the sheriff's department, converged and shot him down like a dog in the street. He didn't have a weapon or anything, unarmed. And they finished him off with a shotgun blast to the back of his head. Nobody has been held accountable. His dad sued him in federal court, didn't win anything. When you got an unlimited supply of our tax dollars, paying the biggest law firms you can get, and a system that is skewed to screw, nothing. And so I think Crooked Eddie and all of his ass clowns in Clowns County, Mississippi, believe that that party's over because they made the statement. Because he made a rap song on YouTube, and you go in there and videos I've done about Austin, and one talking about the police. And they didn't like it. They told him to take it down, and he wouldn't do it because that's protected First Amendment speech. They hate that. Mitch hates it. I'm trying to hold my, because I got something for these boys, they ain't got no idea what's working in the background on exposing these criminals with badges. You can believe that. You can believe that, folks. Don't believe anything. Believe it like the sun's going to come up tomorrow. So, Jimmy Edwards, the world would love to know why you covered up the disappearance and murder of Jessica Stacks. Why don't you step up, tell the truth, resign, and go turn yourself in the FBI in that damn order? And all those people that have had this orgy of electing people like that, go with him. That's my advice. So, we can say what it is what it is. So, this man, Curbo, I put his picture up there. It's a mugshot. Of course, none of them are images becoming of what a person actually looks like, kind of like a driver's license picture. And the media just did a couple of reports. That's it. That's not a story to them. Why isn't it a story? Because the story is whatever law enforcement give them. Whatever the fake news gets from law enforcement, they get up there, the news readers, especially in North Mississippi, WTVA and WCBI, they get up there and they read, and whatever they put in front of them, they read it. That's it. There's no such thing as investigative journalism. They damn sure are not going to kick against the pricks and start talking about these corrupt deals and what the hell's really going on. Now, if you hadn't watched The Kings of Tupelo, it's a 3-part series on Netflix, released on December 11th, of how they targeted Kevin Curtis and his story and that Southern crime saga, as it's described. If you hadn't seen it, I encourage you to watch it. And that's one of the best examples I can give you of community orgasmic policing, or cause stalking, group stalking, gang stalking, neighborhood watch, perverts on wheels, or closet queer, fraternal, secret order clowns, however you want to call it. But that's what it is. And the chief law enforcement officer of your county and your city are the ones running the deal. And when you start asking them about it, they're going to start lying through their tooth. Believe that. That's what they do. If they couldn't lie, they couldn't exist. And enough said about liars. So we continue to expose this program. The way we do it, we expose these criminals behind it. So if people want to look and say, well, what's this all about? It's, you're anti-police and everything. Fuck the police. It's about the Constitution. It's about our rights as American citizens. And if you're out there, you're a law-abiding citizen, you deserve to be left the hell alone, period, no matter what other person thinks about you. And just because you don't like a person does not green light you to set them up and to paint them into being some kind of criminal and knocking their heads off. That's why we talk about these rats and snitches. And they get mad. And there's a word for that. That's the Mayhall effect. You get these rats that want to get pumped up because why? Because they got the police backing them. That's why they talk a good game. I'm not a snitch. You're a snitching rat, period. I stand on that. You believe one thing, folks. If I was afraid or scared of a criminal with a badge or a snitching rat or anything else, you think I'd be doing what I'm doing? I am not scared of them. Bring it. Get it how you live. That's all I can tell you. Because we're going to keep putting you out there. That's the deal. And that's what people expect. And that's what you're going to get, honey. And you'll get the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And we'll give you the rest of the story. Well, you ain't get the story. That's what we do here. So, those who watch, I don't care where you are in this country. In the description of this video, it's an email address, USAGSA@duck.com. If you want to nominate your chief or your sheriff to make the list of deplorables, send it to me. And you put it in whatever you want to put in the subject line of that email. Okay? Deplorable sheriff or fuck the police or whatever you'll put in there. Just as long as I know what it is. And we're going to put it together. We'll have a show and we're going to put these con artists, criminal liars on blast. Whether it's the chief of police, the Tupelo, Mississippi, Quacker. Now, folks, can't make it up. Quaka. Okay, that's real. It's a real thing. Or Chris Naco in Pasco County, or Grady Judd, Pope, fuck Grady Judd. Y'all listen. Well, you got people in these communities, veterans, senior citizens, single parents that are being targeted, harassed, and tortured 24 hours a day, 7 days a week by their mobs of perverted morons. You'll look at some of these people that you're giving these high accolades to in a whole different light. Maricopa County, Arizona. I go on and on. Y'all know where you are. You know the criminals with badges. See, I want you to nominate them. I want to hear from you. And just as soon as we get, I can give you a good list right now, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to wait here a few days, probably do it. Hopefully we can do it for Christmas. Let's give them a Christmas present. Since their job has been to destroy your Christmas, your family, your life, your reputation, everything about you. Let's do our job and let them know. And I'll quote the great late Yogi Berra, honey, it ain't over till it's over. Until next time, God bless you.
They call me a